G'day scrappers. Yeah, just wanted to talk about servers and the value in some servers, and not that servers are the kind of thing that you find in garbage piles or on the side of the street. More from IT departments from larger companies, or a lot of times people will find these in at e-waste auctions. That's probably the most common way to find servers in bulk quantities, is buying a pallet load of kind of what looks like servers. The only thing is, when you're buying at auctions, you've got to be reasonably careful, because you're not really sure what's actually inside them. The top ones might be really good. The ones that are all underneath that you can't get to, they might be half empty, and so you've kind of got to be careful of buying server stuff and watch your prices. Basically, I go by the weight. So if I was to buy servers from an auction, which I don't really do, but it's an option there for me to maybe do that one day. If I have to buy servers from an IT department, if they don't want to give them away for free, the maximum price I've ever offered is 45 cents a kilo. At the moment, because steel is it's only like 5 cents a kilo, so I try and drop that down to 40 cents a kilo, because any more than that, a server can weigh, like this one here can weigh might weigh 25 kilos, and a lot of that is steel, and so you don't want to be caught out with just having a whole heap of steel that you've paid 7 times more than the actual value. If there's not much in there, there might only be a circuit board in there, or and not much at all. And but generally 40 to 45 cents a kilo is about the average price that most large e-waste companies will buy scrap servers. This is providing that the servers aren't very modern, and you can't recover and sell components out of it. A lot of servers you can sell components, at least the CPUs and the RAM. Rarely you'll be able to sell the motherboards or slot cards, but I find that the CPUs and RAM can be quite worthwhile keeping and selling. So in this big server here, this one's actually hasn't even been used. It's brand new, but it's out of date, and it's only a base model. It hasn't because it hasn't been used. They haven't actually put anything inside it, aside from just the standard factory sort of fitting. So the CPUs are in there, and the CPUs will be brand new. So they'll be I'll take care of them, and I'll look them up, and I'll try and sell them. Because this one's kind of new, they haven't actually put in any RAM sticks or anything yet, because it's customizable. Companies will put the RAM and other kinds of slot cards in there according to their needs. So this was given to me as a demo. This was given to the company as a demo sort of server, just to it's like a sales sample. But yeah, could work and all that. I've already tried to sell it. I've already tried to look it up. It's really not. No one's really after it, because it's just a little bit old. But yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of steel and stuff, and low value stuff like the fans. They're hot swap fans. So you might be able to sell these fans, as hot swap fans. They have got some value, but once you build up a few and you try and sell them, after a while they're just really slow to sell. So might as well just get rid of them as motors. And then the other kind of servers, just more of a 3/4 size server. This is more of a common size that you would probably find at auctions also. And so yeah, this is basically what you want from a server if you're buying them, you know, and you're paying. You know, the heat sinks are here, so it shows me that you know, there's CPUs there. There's a couple of RAM sticks, so you know, that I would be pretty happy with paying 45 cents a kilo. This server, same kind of deal, but you know, just the little things that, you know, can add up. These two are pretty much almost identical, but they're not. They are different. But you know, as you can see on this one, you got copper heat sinks. So you know, instantly you've gotten some cash back from the copper, some decent money there. Whereas this one has got small aluminium heat sinks. So you know, right away you've lost a little bit there. So yeah, this is just what I'm saying, and it's kind of hit and miss with servers. If you pick them up for free, then no problem. Whatever's in them, it's great. But if you're buying them, you've just got to be a little bit wary on you know, how they look, where they came from, and whether, you know, they are actually, you know, they haven't already been scrapped out before, and just with the bare components left on them. Like this one here, I can see that there's a slot card in there. Server slot cards have got high value, so you know, there's good value there. I can see a back plane board, you know, 2 back plane boards. So there is, you know, I can see instantly that there's going to be good value there. If you can pop the tops off servers and have a quick look, that's kind of what you know, your first thing you want to see is some heat sinks. You know, hard drives, well, they don't really matter. You know, they're only worth $1 a kilo really. So, but everything else, and same with the power supply units. Well, they don't really have much value, but you know, if you're basing your prices on 45 cents a kilo, then you're probably going to just get your money back on these, unless they work well and you can, you know, you want to spend time selling them. Yeah. And the other kind of things that look like servers are these network boxes. They're sort of like a server for telecommunications, and if you see these kind of servers, grab these, because these can be really worthwhile. This is a Dialogic kind of communication server board, and this one, I've got quite a few of these actually, and this one's the most basic one that I've got. And as you can see, this is a slot card on top of the board, and as you can see, they're very, you know, very intense. Like a lot of IC chips, you got these, you know, very high quality MLCCs, and all those little black ones, they're all tantalum capacitors, and they're just running through the whole thing. So, you know, over here you got, you know, you can see all the tantalum capacitors running along here. IC chips, you got yellow tantalum capacitors, flat packs. So this kind of stuff is really worthwhile. The only thing where you're not going to be making your money back really, or you'll get your money back, is like obviously the power supply unit. In this case it's a power supply board, but when you're picking up servers, try and keep an eye out for things like that with the communications kind of ports. As you can see, it's an Intel Dialogic, and you know, these are very high value. If you see a box of these, you could obviously, because there's not much steel on them, you can you know, go pay about probably, you know, 80 cents or even $1 a kilo for the complete unit, and you still do very well. Just get myself a screwdriver. Yeah, so I'll just quickly take off this board and to show you the rest of the actual main board. But it's just kind of like this is like an extension to the main board. As you can see, they're pretty much identical looking kind of chip sort of setup. So, and you know, there's riser bars here, so there could, you know, this one's only a basic one because it depends on how many ports it's got. If this had, the other ones that I've got, they have more ports. like here you can see this one's a 72 ports because there's a pin only in the up to the 72, but then there's 96 port, 120 port, and so that means that there's an extra slot card, and so they can have 3, so they can be really highly valuable if you get the ones with the full amount of ports. Let's see if I can actually get this out. Okay. There we go. Right. So as you can see now, the board is you know, that's the actual board you get, and then it just depends on how many extra ports there are, which will give you this really nice slot card. And yeah, it's very heavy, and but it's heavy because of the precious metals in there. You know, it's only a small board. Turn it around, not much on the other side apart from all these MLCCs, and you got thick film resistors. If you can see the blue ones, they're high quality thick film resistors. There's some black ones in there, but in a lot of high grade you know, communication sort of stuff, you'll mostly see these blue thick film resistors, which are a lot higher grade. So they'll have ruthenium in there. The MLCCs will have palladium and silver. There's a nice row, 2 rows of MLCCs. Yeah, so yeah, so worthwhile grabbing these kind of things at auctions. Anything that looks like server boxes, and you know, just have a look at the back, make sure if they've got these kind of like communication ports rather than what a server really looks like. You know, server, you can expect like hard drives sort of at the end and stuff like that. This one being new, they're all empty. But yeah, so what I'll do is I wanted to just go have a quick look at just one server and see if we can get any value out of it. Say I'll assume that, you know, I've paid 45 cents a kilo for it, and see what we can get, even though I know that there's no hard drives and there's no RAM sticks or slot cards. So it's just going to be the CPUs and the main server board. But we'll have a little look anyway since I'm here, and I'll get back to you. Hang on. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just pull apart a few of the things, and you know, just give you a bit of an example of what you'll get out of, you know, the servers, and you know, and basically you'll see, you know, where the precious metal is. And you know, so you got this you know, power supply caddy. Okay, so very heavy. So you got 2 large power supplies in here, and so power supply is a power supply. There's nothing inside that's any different. You got coils of copper coils and transformers and stuff, nothing much different. So you can just kind of sell these as power supplies if you sell them like that, or you can strip them and take all the transformers out yourself. I prefer to sell them complete as power supply units, but you know, because these are new, and or if they're working, you know, you might even try and sell these as after, you know, in the auctions or something like that. But I don't really bother with power supply units because I just don't have enough time to list everything. I just prefer to list a better sort of stuff. But as you can see here, there's, you know, very nice gold pins, very intense gold plating. Anything on server equipment, the gold plating on server equipment is always a high grade gold plating, and you know, as in the thickness, you know, of the gold. And so as you can see, this will be the first thing I take off. So I'll just remove the gold plating and then sell the power supply unit as a power supply unit. But you know, yeah, there's a lot of pins here, and they're really nice. So you know, that's our first bit of gold recovery. Get the other one, same deal. So we've got them 2, and then we just got a caddy. It's just basically steel. Over this side we've got another board actually. So oh yeah, of course, something for the actual the power supplies to slot into. So already we're getting some, got some decent stuff. We've only just started, so okay, I'll get rid of that. Right, so once again, where these pins meet, slot into there, gold on gold. So you're going to have nice, there's some gold sort of pins in there as well. Okay, so we've got two nice rows of that, and on this side another huge one up the top here. Right, you can even see the gold in there, and so there's quite a lot of gold in just the power supply units here. And then the other things were these hot swap fans, and I can get around, sort of started one up. But so the hot swaps slot into another board, and so you've got little fingers here, so that's fine. It's just like a little circuit board, just plastic. Okay, so we've got the fan. Now these hot swap fans, they can be sold, so if you don't have many of them, it might be worthwhile, just trying to get a few extra bucks to sell these. Otherwise, just throw them in your transformer, motor and transformer bucket. But so as you can see, there's it's just a gold plating there, and there's nothing really else on the board, but it's a double-sided, and so there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 hot swaps. So there's so you got 12 of these little boards. So another good form of gold for gold recovery. So every one will have that. I'll just take them out. So and like I said, if you're paying 45 cents a kilo, well, the motors kind of can go for around that anyway, so you're not really losing any money on these fans, and you're scoring a little bit of gold plating. I'll get rid of this. It's a bit of plastic. Okay, and that's the main caddy for the hot swaps. And so under here we've got, obviously, you can see where the gold pins slot into. So these plugs are all, again, being a server, high quality gold plating on these slots for the hot swaps. And then underneath we've got a couple of boards that aren't too bad either. There's nothing really on there. Some pins here. These aren't really circuit boards or anything, or logic boards or anything like that, so they don't really have much value. Although these are all, these ones here, you can see it's a C, C9, C12, and you can see the grey stripe mounted on the sides. They're tantalum capacitors. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tantalum capacitors on this board. And so you got some good value there too. Okay, so otherwise, if you just took this board off, threw it into your board bucket, you'd only get like mid-grade board value. So for me, I prefer to just remove all the components, and then I can even sell these boards. You can sell here in Australia. I know a place that buys depopulated boards, just virtually blank boards with all the stuff removed, providing they're off higher end stuff. I still get 70 cents a kilo for just the board alone with all these stuff removed. Okay, and so obviously we've got some nice copper heat sinks there. So solid, they're all copper, so you're going to get candy copper value for this. In Australia at the moment it's about $5.50 a kilo, but again, because these are have got it's it hasn't been used, this server, so the CPUs are going to be new, and so the first thing I want to do is I want to look after the CPUs, and I want to go in and do a search on the CPUs and see if they're selling. You know, they should be worth at least $20 each, you know, for most server, you know, most you know, low level usable server CPUs. You should get at least $20. But sometimes they can be really high-end servers, and so, okay. So we've even got a little bit of, you know, nice aluminium here, and there's the CPU under there. And so a really good solid, you know, a heatsink, you know, probably weighs about, I don't know, 400 or 500 grams. So a few bucks there. And I'll just get something to knock off that CPU. Okay, so that's a good, you know, good chunk of copper. Throw it straight into your candy copper bucket. Unless you can sell these too, you know, these can also be sold. You know, you can probably get 20 bucks for it as a heatsink. You know, so, you know, with server stuff, it can be worthwhile buying, you know, especially if they look reasonably modern. So this one's an AMD Opteron, and so the whole idea is to check that part number. You know, even on eBay, you can do a search on eBay and they'll usually pop up and you'll get a rough idea on what they sell for. What I find is when I go to sell, you see, I can sell this as kind of like, you know, it's still like used because I've pulled it out, because it doesn't come out of a packet. So, but you know, in the description you could say used, but kind of not used. And so I know that these are going to be working, and so, you know, I'm sure I'll get $20 per CPU. So it's really important to handle them carefully, and okay, so there's another one. Okay, the same deal. Beautiful hot copper heatsink. Give that a wipe. So it's the same one, AMD Opteron CPU. Okay, so always worth selling these if you know that they work, because you know, these particular CPUs is scrap value. You know, they don't go for that much because it's basically one huge copper heatsink here, and it's pretty much about these pins. So if you can sell these, you know, even if you get $5 for them, you're going to kind of do better than scrap value on these. Okay, so I just put them away nice and carefully, and I won't worry about these copper heat sinks. I'll just throw these straight into copper because I get quite a few of them. Yeah, so but it's up to you. If you know, you're trying to maximize your money out of everything you get, then, you know, definitely, you know, look to even try and sell these. You know, and they look great. If you go to like a computer swap meet, you have these on your stall table, you know, they look mean. They'll probably attract people, you know, and you probably sell them out like that. All right, so yeah, because this one hasn't been used and it doesn't have any slot cards or RAM sticks, you know, so, you know, it's not as impressive as some can be. I'll just I'll get to the main circuit board. So, you know, you've got an idea of the size of the motherboard on this. You know, it's huge. Okay, it's just plastic. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, it's a huge motherboard. So going as it's going to be sold as a server board, so, you know, if it was sold as a server board, you know, it's almost oh, it's what, it's a bit over 2 foot long, and a bit over a foot wide. So it's one of the it's obviously about the biggest circuit board you'll find really under normal circumstances. And yeah, if there was ram sticks, there's 4 ram slots on each side. So there could have been, if it was a used one, potentially they could have had 8 ram sticks. Over here there's 5 slot card slots, so potentially there could have been 5 slot cards. And more slot cards. There's a riser board here that could have had another kind of slot card. So servers are definitely worth looking for in auctions and trying to buy bulk lots. And yeah, let's get this one out. Right, so that's another part of the where the an extra 4 hot swap fans go into. So again, we've got the little gold bits in there, and on this one not much here. There's a few odd black tantalum capacitors and some gold pins there. Okay, so yeah, we're getting closer to the board. Looks pretty good. Might just get rid of this. Okay, we've got a couple of slotty kind of things in here. Okay, now I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it doesn't really matter, because I'm not going to really look this up to try and sell it. But as you can see, they're all like little crystal oscillators. Okay, but they'll be high-end kind of crystal oscillators if they are. They look like it, but you can see lovely gold pins. And again, these are a heavier grade gold than your standard motherboard's computer kind of pins. And over here, if you can see the size of these MLCCs. Now again, being a server, MLCCs, or all the components are going to be very high-end components containing, these will have a really, a much higher amount of palladium and silver than your regular MLCCs you get on regular circuit boards. These are, really high-end ones, and you can see these little black things there. They're thick film resistors. I've got a video on thick film resistors and ruthenium. You can see the numbers, the coding on the top of them, and you can see that it's an R. That one's an R47. Okay, and so they're really big, thick film resistors, about the biggest ones that I've seen for a while. So these ones, I will take these off by hand. I'll just use a screwdriver and chip them off, and throw them into the resistor bucket, the thick film resistor buckets. Okay, so even though these are black, they're not the blue ones, but they're very, very big. So most of the weight is going to be in ruthenium paste and all that. But these MLCCs are really chunky, so just this little board alone has got some really, really good precious metal value just in this one board. Another little slot card here. Okay, this one, it's kind of like a ram stick. It looks very much like a ram stick. Nice plating on the fingers, virtually solid fingers, both sides. And then you got huge MLCCs. So, again, a really good value thing, and a couple of tantalum capacitors, and another large thick film resistor. Other side, it's just some little ICs and stuff. And so yeah, much higher value than RAM. These would be really good. So that's going to be a good gold recovery thing. Get these pins, plugs, even these plugs, very yeah, like this ribbon wire, it's obviously just copper wire, could even be aluminium wire running through. But these pins, you know, so it's the same on servers. These pins are very high grade gold pins, so much, you know, much more than your regular computer component stuff. And so yeah, so you know, really good value gold in these pins alone. So you know, so we've got two of them, you know. So as you can see, pretty much everything you take off has got a portion of gold and things to recover. So right now, so I'll just I've got this bloody thing off. So that's basically your where the hard drives slot into. So obviously there's 6 slots. So in this one, obviously in all of these slots, there's again high quality gold plating. Not much else on the board, you know, little MLCC there, a couple over here. So yeah, there won't be a great deal on these boards apart from the gold recovery. There's a nice crystal oscillator here. Yeah, so but you know, so it depends how you want it, whether you want to sell it. Me, I prefer to depopulate it, take all the pins off, and you know, put them away for one day recovering. So that's another piece there, another good gold recovery piece. And so you got the hard drive caddies there. There's really nothing in there because there's no hard drives in there. So okay, so there's your motherboard. Okay, so we've got a really nice big motherboard, and then it's actually joined up to another board underneath. It's kind of like another motherboard. And to get that, I need to drag this over here, because we've still got a bit of weight in this, and it's mostly from this. So from the front here, you can see the board. The motherboard is got a huge slot, and it's slot into another board on this side under this, and this one comes out here. If I can, okay. Ouch. Okay. So here's another board. Again, it's got another 8 RAM slots. So you know, just goes to show just how really intense these servers can be, you know. And so when you're buying ones that have been used, you know, you got 8 RAM sticks there, another 8 possible RAM sticks over here, so 16 high quality RAM sticks. So you know, it just goes to show that servers can be really worthwhile buying at auctions, as long as you don't pay too much, because you know, you're also taking a risk that they could be similar like this, where they've already taken out the RAM sticks, or RAM sticks have never even been in there. So we've got another 2 beautiful copper heat sinks here, and we'll get rid of these. Okay, so these, look at that, it's a really beautiful copper heat sink. I mean, I reckon these ones are even better. You might even want to sell these, because they've got very generic kind of mounts, so these could be used for a lot of things. So you might want to hold on to these before you know, it's easy to sell as copper, as scrap copper, but you know, for some people these are, you know, can be, you know, really worth for, you know, to them. But here, as you can see, this is just a piece of rubber, and it's just a blank. So when they want to upgrade this, you know, depending on you know, the unique situation, right, they might want to have another 2 extra CPUs. So in this case, factory issue, they just send it like this, ready to go. They've got a little spacer that takes place of the CPU, and well, look at that. That's a beautiful heatsink. Should be the same deal here. Yep, just a rubber spacer. Beautiful heatsink. So these 2 heatsinks, I mean, surely you can get $10 each for them, surely, you know, if not more, to the right person. So yeah, as I was saying, you can get really good value out of servers, a lot of high-end, you know, content. Now have a look at that. If you can see that, that's really serious gold plating on these pins, every one of them. That's bloody awesome, right? And again, we've got these really nice long couple of these boards actually, and more of these ram looking kind of sticks, right? Again, high grade kind of thing, that's, you know, like a ram stick but a lot higher grade. So I've got another two of them, right? You know, and another two of these things, if I can get one out. You know, so again, really chunky MLCCs, really high quality stuff. So very well worth it. And then you've got a really nice motherboard. It's a server board, doesn't have a lot of components on it that you can take off, apart from, well, obviously I wouldn't want to sell this board once you've removed the steel. Geez, I wouldn't want to sell, you know, and get, you know, a few bucks a kilo, you know, with pins like that. You want to recover these pins. Also, the pins in these ram stick slots and all these slots are going to be higher grade gold because of the application, you know. But I might just see what's underneath this board quickly. Okay, just a bit of steel. And so underneath here, well, we've got a lot of black tantalum capacitors, right? Nice little array of black tantalum capacitors. So a little bit more here, yeah. You got a lot of resistors along here you can also take off, well, mostly the tantalum capacitors, but yeah. So, but those pins are really cool. Okay, so we've got another nice board there. Okay, and then we just got the motherboard. So might be another kind of board in here, but yeah, so as you can see, it's a huge motherboard, and I'll take this out and I'll give you a look at basically all the components. But yeah, it's, you know, this board alone would probably be a couple of kilos. So, you know, just in scrap value you can get a decent amount, but, you know, I'd like to, you know, depopulate this whole board. You've got the nice gold corner logic chips, north-south bridge kind of chips, another gold corner one there. You've got these flat packs here, some ICs, a lot of things on here. You know, it's not, you know, the most intense server board I've seen. You know, under these heat sinks here, you know, they'll also be nice little chips. Get one off. There you go. They're bloody like AMD servers, AMD CPU kind of chips. Very, you know, really good for your gold recovery. You know, you got the gold corner on the end, so, you know, you remove this copper heatsink here, or aluminium heatsink, and these are going to be really nice chips. Yeah, so that's that. And just move this camera. So over here with the other kind of servers, you know, again, under these heat sinks, I'm going to check to see what kind of CPUs they are, that can be resold first. You've got RAM modules here that usually will be too out of date to bother selling. You know, well, these are 1 gig, so they might, you know, still have a little bit of value being 1 gigabyte, but I doubt, you know, you'll get much for these. But still, before you throw them into your RAM bucket, scrap RAM, you know, you want to just have a little look and make sure that you can't, you know, at least get a few. You know, if you can just get $5 each for them, it's going to be, you know, it's going to add to the value. And then, you know, if you can get a little bit for the RAM, you can get a little bit for your CPUs, then you know, you might want to just depopulate these boards for your own gold recovery one day. So like under here, you got these kind of riser boards that sort of sit there where slot cards go into them. You know, I can see yellow tantalum capacitors there. Got some, you know, little fingers there on this board. Another riser, you know, kind of board. A couple of big black tantalum capacitors. And got some nice fingers, gold pins in all these, a few MLCCs. So, you know, the value's all there. As long as you're kind of careful in what you're buying. Like these power supply units, again, you know, sometimes they're just gold fingers. In this case, they're pins. And, you know, they can be, you know, they are, as I said, they're a good quality pin. So, obviously you really want to take these out and get to it. Right, so here's most of the stuff that I've gotten out of this server, just to, you know, again give you a bit of an example. So we've got our 12 little fans with the gold pins. We've got the one sort of riser card with some really good gold pins in all of them, and these are the boards that the fans sort of clipped onto, and so we've got some nice gold pins in all of them. So there's 12 fans, so there's 12 of these little plugs, some other little bits, a few little kind of cards. Got 4 of these, you know, that kind of look like RAM stick modules, but they're not. They're something different, but very nice, high grade, really big MLCCs. Got 4 of these other boards, again gold pins and really nice MLCCs. So, you know, a lot of there'll be good amount of palladium on these, inside these MLCCs, so they're going to be really good for palladium recovery. And we've got our 4 heat sinks here, so 4 nice chunks of copper, well over 1 kilo, maybe 1.5 kilos. Got a little DVD. Got this slot board where the hard drive slot into, so more gold pins, a few little components. Got this nice server board. Yeah, got a lot of good gold recovery inside these, and obviously, as I said, those pins are awesome on this particular one. You know, really nice gold plating on them. And we've got the motherboard, which, as you can see, it's giant. It's a giant motherboard. If I go over to an old PC, it's a bit bigger than a regular PC. So yeah, that's the motherboard. Got these nice AMD chips there, some other North and South bridge top chips, and some good gold recovery on this board overall. Other side, there's not much on the other side, except for around here where the CPUs were. You got some large black tantalum capacitors around there, and not much else on the other side. There's literally hundreds of tiny MLCCs all here, and little resistors. So they're very small. Obviously nothing compared to, say, these big ones here, but yeah, a real lot of MLCCs, hundreds of them literally. And so I'll depopulate these with the air gun, and you know, a lot of it will turn to crumble, but it's still good enough for precious metal recovery. And that's it. And yeah, and just the 2 power supply units. I opened one up Give you an example. They got basically 2 boards inside the unit. There are some little boards here. They're like little slot boards. They've got some MLCCs and things to take off, so I might remove these first. And obviously, you got your nice pins. So overall, there's a real good value in a server. And so if I was to buy this server for the 45 cents a kilo, I'd probably make a pretty decent profit still out of it, because this board, it's about 4 kilos, maybe a bit more. Probably about 10 pounds. So, as a server board, 10 pounds, whatever price you get per pound for server boards, well, that's pretty good value if you weren't into depopulating the board and selling the components or refining the components. You're still going to get, quite a decent amount for just this server board alone. And then you add, another 4 pounds or so from this board if you were to sell it. So just these 2 boards alone are going to give you some good value. Obviously, most of the servers that you're going to get are going to be used. So the other thing that we're missing here are slot cards and RAM sticks. So you got and hard drives. So you've got a lot more value there, and all of that by weight is all profit, really. Yeah. So yeah, and that's another example of a server. And as you can see, this server board is only almost regular PC size, and this motherboard is the entire size of this server. So that's how big this is. All right. So yeah, that's all I wanted to sort of talk about with servers and precious metal recovery. If you can find these at auctions, especially pellet loads of them, you see a pellet load, try and get a rough weight of what the whole pellet weighs, and then just base it on that and pay your 45 cents a kilo, maybe 20 cents a pound would be a good price in the US, maybe up to 30 cents a pound. Much more than that, you're taking a bit of a risk as to what you're going to get out of it. So like I said, some of them can remove some of the components, some of the main components, and all you might end up with is a large server board and a whole heap of steel. And steel at the moment is not very much. When, like in Australia, when we were getting 25 cents a kilo for steel, then it was really worth going to auctions and buying stuff, because just the steel alone, you were getting your money back. So everything inside was pretty much a profit. But now that steel is 5 cents a kilo, you want to make sure that you're getting reasonably good servers. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to say about servers. A lot of gold recovery items in servers. So and also, as I mentioned, the nice little CPUs. If they're a good model, should get at least $20 each for them. So there's $40 just for 2 CPUs. And hot swap fans, if you didn't want to just take off the little gold finger, you wanted to try and sell these, you might get a couple bucks each. There's 12, so there's another 24 bucks there. So it all adds up. Same as the power supply units, you might get $5-10 bucks for a power supply unit, maybe more. So it just depends on your system and how you want to go about it. If you don't get that much stuff, you want to get the best value out of what you're especially if you're buying it, then you really want to see if you can value add. And even like this whole motherboard, you could try selling it, but for me, because I get most of my stuff for free, I'm not going to bother with trying to get value out of every component. I'm happy just to have all this stuff for my own precious metal recovery and remove all the chips. I'm going to depopulate this whole board, and I'll still sell this board for 70 cents a kilo. So I'll still probably, I don't know, I'll probably, there might be about you know, I'd probably get a few bucks, $3 for the board once I've taken off all the good bits. So still there's a bit of money there too. So yeah, all right guys, well, keep scrapping and have fun, and I'll catch you again with my next video.